Welcome back to another video. This is JC Diaz. This episode of JC Diaz Uncensored is brought to you by no one. Just me, no sponsors. How easy is it to assimilate to the US culture? Is it hard? Is it difficult? Should we assimilate to the US culture once we make the decision to come to America as an immigrant? We will discuss that in this episode for you guys. And let's go ahead and get started. In today's episode, we want to talk about how easy it is to assimilate to American culture. When we make the decision to immigrate to the US, the greatest country in the world, should we assimilate to the culture? How easy it is? Is it difficult? Do we have immigrants in this country that do not assimilate to the culture of the US? Yes, we do. I have a few short videos I want to show you about this issue, since this has been an issue the last few days. We've been seeing clips about it, especially from the Somali community in the US. And I feel like I needed to address what's going on, or at least, just give it my opinion and let you, the audience, decide what you guys, whatever you need to decide. So let's go ahead and play this video and these short clips, and I'll be back with you guys. Go ahead, play the video.
What are you gonna do if we say no? We don't want to assimilate. We don't want to be like you. You people are so fucking sick, honestly. Assimilate, or you're not American. Who are you?
You work all fucking day, you don't got shit. Thank you for working so hard so I can be home all day. Free. I can use my EBT. Go to work for me, white boy, white girl. Yeah. Go to work for me, you fucking white animals. Fucking work for me. Yeah, you fucking work for me. And the US government they work for me. All of you work for me. Now go to work. Pay them taxes. Take care of me and my people. Alright? This is my land. I control this place. This is my reality. You all gonna be enchained. I'm gonna lock all you guys up if you don't pay your taxes.
Do you feel more comfortable living under American law, or do you feel more comfortable living under Sharia law?
Sharia law. I'm a Muslim. I prefer Sharia law.
Right.
Sharia law, yes.
You prefer Sharia law over American law?
Of course, yeah. Of course, yeah.
And do you find most of your friends feel the same way?
Yeah, of course. If you're a Muslim, yeah.
He can make his daughter marry somebody.
Yeah, he can. Yeah, he can. He has the authority,
The authority to do that.
Yeah, to do that. Yeah.
So here, how young do you think it's okay?
Yeah, 15.
Is it right to kill somebody who insults Muhammad?
Yeah, because she is just, she hid the religion, I understand. But she shouldn't pick up the prophet,
So you understand why people would want to attack her?
Yeah.
If you had a choice, would you rather live here, or would you rather live in the Muslim country?
I'd rather live in a Muslim country with my people.
Would you prefer to live in America or prefer to live in Somalia?
For me, I think it's Somalia.
I would rather live in Somalia.
I'm not Americanized. I just speak fluent, and I'm articulate, and I can articulate what I'm trying to say. That's about it. But other than that, as far as my culture and my preferences and everything, it's still Somali.
Even though here you have all the freedom and stuff like that.
And even though I have all the freedom,
I think life might be better in Somalia than here.
because now you have the freedom of it of practicing your religion,
right,
while working and doing your other things.
And we are back. And I just want to give you guys my my opinion on the matter, on these videos, on these short clips that we just watched. And I'm going to let you guys be the judge. You make the decision. I'll just give you my honest opinion on how I feel about assimilating to American culture. And I'll tell you my part, my opinion, how I feel, and I'll let you be the judge. We are not here to judge anybody. I am not trying to pick and only pick on a specific community. I just happen to find these clips online. They're public. Like anybody can go search it. Anybody can go search these clips. They're public. I promise you I'm not picking on one community specifically. This is for all immigrants, this video. This is not only for the Somalis. It is not. I just happen to only find these short clips, which again, they're public and they came from the Somalis. So I'm going to start with a story. I'm going to tell you a little story and then I'll continue. So back in, I want to say 2004, I am an immigrant myself. I immigrated here from the Dominican Republic. And, I got married and did it all legal. Got married, became a U.S. citizen. And since then, I've been here almost 27 years. I love my country. This is my country. I will fight for my country. Do we have flaws in our country? Yes. And I call it out whenever I have to call it out. But I also love my country. And the reason why I call out these things is because I want my country to be better. I want our country to be better. So let's make that clear to start with. I am a patriot. I love my country. This country has given me the little bit that I have. I've got it because of my hard work in this country. Let's make that clear. Okay? Now, I'm going to move on to the story. Back in 2004, my dad was visiting. Rest in peace, Dad. Rest in peace. My dad was visiting from Dominican Republic. And, he had his visa at the time. And he was he had a visitor's visa. And he was staying at my house. One day we are all outside, talking, a group of friends or whatever. And my dad, started bashing the U.S., saying, I don't know why people like it here. You can only come here to get money and go back to your country. There's no life here and all that, blah, 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 blah. Well, bottom line is I got really upset at my dad. And I told him, I said, Dad, if you don't like it here, why are you here then? Just go back to Dominican Republic if you don't like it. So the bottom line is my dad got really upset. Really upset. My dad got so upset, I used to live in a second floor and I used to live in Massachusetts at the time. He got really upset. He went and packed his clothes and went to stay at a friend's house the remainder of the time he was here. He was so mad at me because I had told him, if you don't like it here, why are you here? Why are you? And I wasn't mean. I was not bad to him. I simply stated how I was feeling. This country has been great to me. This country has given me everything I have. And whether you are my family or not, if you talk bad about this country, I will call you out. And I did with my dad. And he ended up moving to a friend's house, and he stayed there for like, we didn't talk for like 6 months. And my whole family was blaming me, and under pressure from the entire family, I ended up having to apologize to my dad, because at the end of the day, he was my dad. And I ended up apologizing, even though I knew I was not in the wrong. But he was my dad at the end of the day. And, after that, we mended things and we moved on as a family. And every family has issues. And, my dad passed later on, many years later. My dad then moved to the US, and, he was able to buy his house. He assimilated after, and he became a proud, resident of the US. And, eventually he got sick and he passed. He passed away. Rest in peace, Dad. So what I'm saying with this is it difficult to assimilate to the US? I don't think so. I think the US is one of the countries that is the easiest to assimilate. It's the easiest. First of all, you have all the freedoms here. You have freedom of speech, freedom of assembly, freedom to bear weapons once you become a U.S. citizen. Aside from some bad apples that we have, do we have bad apples? Yes, we have bad apples in this country. And they know who they are. I don't have to say names. I don't have to name them. But we do have bad apples in this country who hate everybody. That doesn't look like them. It's just the way it is. But is it easy to assimilate? Yes, absolutely it is. So when I see videos like this from that gentleman who was saying, you white devil, go work for me, the government has to work for me, I cringe when I hear stuff like that. Because there's nothing that bothers me more than me working hard to earn a living for my family, to support my family, paying taxes, so another person can do videos like this and say, go work for me, you have to support me. Meanwhile, I'm sitting at home with my ABT car and all that. How do you feel proud about that? How is that something to be proud about? Because I don't think so. I don't think that's nothing to be proud about. Because if it was me who was in that position and I had to go to the government because I didn't have a job, I would be quiet because I would be ashamed. I would be quiet. I wouldn't be proud that I'm living off the government. I'll be quiet and I will take my help until I could get a job and then go back to work. I will shut the hell up and just take the help while I'm looking for work. And then once I go back to work, go back to the government and say thank you. But I wouldn't be proud of it. I wouldn't be making public videos and telling people go to work for me while I'm sitting at home on my ass. I wouldn't do that. And this is not only for the Somalis. This is not for you guys. This is for all immigrants. Because trust me, I've seen it. It's not only from you guys. You see, when you make the decision to move to a different country, I would think that you will want to learn the culture of that country. You will want to learn the language of that country. You will want to assimilate to that country. Why? Why learn the language? Well, isn't your life going to be easier to get a job, to become a citizen, to talk to people if you learn the language? I think so, right? Or am I wrong for this? Comment below. I would think that you will want to learn the language and learn the way of life of that country. You can't just go to a country and say, hey, here I am. Now you got to learn my way. No, no, no. That I will not give it to you. I don't agree with that. If you come to the US, you need to assimilate to the US. You need to learn our way of life. You need to learn how we do things here in this country. And you need to assimilate. It's just the way it is. You know, the US is already being gracious enough to allow you in their country. So the least you can do is assimilate to the culture and follow just in line like everybody else. Like the millions and millions that came before you did it the legal way, came in and assimilated. Is there going to be people who don't assimilate? Yes. And I want to say this because I don't want this to get taken out of context. If you are 80 years old, 70 years old, is it easy to learn another language? No. Once you're older, it becomes extremely hard to learn another language. But at that point, I don't see a problem with not being able to speak the language. At that point, you're 80 years old. I don't see a problem. It's hard for someone to learn a language at that age. But the new generation, if you make the decision to come to the US, you need to assimilate. I'm sorry, it is the way it is. I speak out. I speak up for minorities all the time when I have to do it. But I also have to let you have it when I have to do it too. And this goes for all minorities. If you come to the US, you have to assimilate to our culture. It's really not that hard to assimilate in the US. Work hard, learn the language, respect the law, and you will be fine. You will be absolutely fine. You know, you can't just show up in Germany and say, hey, I'm here. Now you have to do my way of life. It doesn't work that way. The US is one of the greatest countries in the world. They are gracious enough to allow a lot of people from a lot of different countries to come in. The least you can do as a good citizen is learn the laws, learn the language, be thankful, be respectful, and assimilate. That's the least you can do. Don't go out in public telling people you need to go work for me while I sit at home and collect my EBT. That's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. And I'm not going to go on a racist rant and say that if you can't assimilate, just leave. No. I'm simply saying it is easy to assimilate to the US culture. The US culture, it is an inclusive culture. Do we have our issues? Absolutely. We have a bunch of racists in this country. We have a lot of people who are racist in this country. We have flaws. We have things that we need to fix. But even with all that, the good things about this country outweigh the bad things about this country. I am a proud naturalized citizen. I will fight for this country. Should there be a war inland, I'll be one of the first ones to say, where's my gun? And I will take a couple people out with me. If I go, I will go down fighting for my country. I'm proud to be a U.S. citizen. If you cannot be proud to be a U.S. citizen, if you're coming to this country to complain about the country, to say how bad this country is, why do you come in the first place? And I do understand there's a lot of countries that are coming as refugees because they're ravaged by war and all that. But if you're coming in from another country that's at war and you came as a refugee, hey, just come in, respect the law, like I said before, fall in line, do what you need to do to be a good U.S. citizen. Don't come here telling people that, what we need to do. It doesn't work that way. And I know I'm going to get some negative feedback with this video, but it is what it is. It is what it is at this point. Am I going to say that, oh my God, I hate this community, I want them all out of here like the president did? No, I won't say that. But I'm nowhere near the power the president has. I'm just a regular citizen with a YouTube channel. But I will call it out when I see it. I will speak up for minorities because I am a minority too. But I will also let you have it when I think you're in the wrong. And this time, any minority that came to this country that is talking about go to work so I can stay at home and all that, and I don't have to assimilate, you're wrong. You are absolutely wrong. If you come to the US, if you go to Russia, if you go to China, if you go to the Philippines, if you go to any country, you need to learn their culture. If you decide to stay in their country, you need to learn their culture. You need to learn the language. Unless you're 70, 80 years old, then you get a pass. But if you're a younger generation, absolutely, you need to learn the language. It's always baffled me how there's certain communities within the US that they don't speak the language. They create a little community in the town. But there's people that stay their whole life within that little community. They never leave that city or never leave that state. And they miss out on so much of such a great country. Just because they didn't want to learn the language. Because if they leave that little safe area, they get lost. You have no idea how much you are missing from such a great country just because you don't want to learn the language and you don't want to learn about the country. The US is such a big country. There's so much to explore. But if you don't know the language, you don't know where, Maine is, you don't know how to read the signs because they're in English, how are you going to go anywhere? And I know I know this sounds harsh, but it is the truth though. I have to call it out. I always speak up for minorities. Whenever we are being picked on, whenever we are being mistreated, but I also have to let you know that if you come to the US, you need to assimilate. And that doesn't mean I'm being racist. I'm just telling you the truth. Don't come here with that bullshit. Don't come here with that. Why come to a country that you hate? If you're going to be here, why are you always complaining? Why complain? I mean, some people just like to complain no matter what. No matter where they are, they always complain. I've seen people complaining about the lamest things. Some people just like to complain. But if you come here to the US, to any country you go to, you need to learn the culture and you need to assimilate to their culture. And your life will be much easier. I promise you it will be much easier. I did it. I came from Dominican Republic. We do have a big influence. The US has a big influence in the Dominican Republic. But nonetheless, it's a different culture. But guess what? I learned the language. I respect the law. Never got in trouble. I've never got in trouble. Thank you, Jesus. I go to work. I work hard. Went to college here. Have my kids here. Have a great career. And now I'm getting myself into this YouTube because I feel that I can contribute to our society by letting people know when you're wrong. And you're wrong. If you're a minority and you come here and you don't want to assimilate and you love to complain about the country, you're wrong. The US is the greatest country in the world. Do we have our flaws? Yes. Do we have things that we need to fix in this country? Absolutely. No country is perfect. But I promise you, you would rather be in the US than to be in Somalia. I promise you, you would rather be in the US than to be in Haiti. I promise you, you would rather be in the US than to be in any of those countries that are at war all the time. And with this, the countries that I'm calling out, please don't think that I am just picking on you. I'm just stating facts, stuff that's public. You can go Google it. It's public. It's public information. You know, I've been watching these video clips from people saying that they don't want to, why do I have to assimilate to the US? For the last couple days. And I was debating whether I should do this video or not because I know I'm going to get negative feedback about this. I know I will. But at the end, I was like, you know what? I am a proud US citizen. Do we have things that we need to fix? Absolutely. And I call it out the same way. The same way I call it out, the same way I'm calling you out. Those of you who don't want to assimilate, who don't want to learn the language, I will make sure to call out when you are being mistreated. But if you give me a reason to call you out because you don't want to assimilate to our culture, I will call you out. If you don't want to be called out, don't give us a reason to call you out. Make it easy on yourself. Isn't it easier when you go to a place, and I'm talking to the younger generation, 50 and down, right? Isn't it easier when you go to a restaurant and you are able to order by yourself? And you don't have to ask somebody to help you order from the menu because you learn the language? Isn't it easier? To me, it is. To me, it is. It's easier. Isn't it easy when you are about to buy a house and you have to sign these documents and you are able to read it? Because you learn the language. Don't you think it's actually to your advantage to learn the language? I'm going to call it like it is. It is to your advantage. Don't be a dumbass. Don't be an idiot. It is to your advantage. It makes your life easier. And obviously you have to respect the law, because you know the laws in the US are really strict. They don't play around, especially for minorities and black and brown people. And again, I'm calling it out when I need to call it out. The laws are really strict for brown and black people. So do you want to put yourself in the situation where you have to face the law? No. So stay out of trouble. It's easy. Just stay out of trouble. Thank you, Jesus. I've done it. I'm 47 years old. I've been in this country for 27 years. Never got in trouble. And guess what? Because I am a good citizen, because I learned the language, I'm not a millionaire, but I live a pretty good life. I got a great career. I've been rewarded. With a great career. I'm able to pay my bills are paid. I was able to bring my wife from the Philippines. All because I'm a good citizen. Because I am a good citizen, I didn't get in trouble. I was able to bring my wife from the Philippines. And my wife is now here with me. And I changed her life too. And guess what? She assimilated to here too. So at the end of the day, if you're able to assimilate to a country, not only to the US, whatever country, whichever country you're going to, I promise you it will make your life easier. Let this be a teaching moment for all minorities. I am not saying that you are a bad person, that you are this, you are that. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is the US is one of the easiest countries to assimilate to our culture. Even if you make a mistake here, people, this is a pretty forgiving society. But try not to get in trouble. Learn the culture. If you make the decision to come to this country, stop complaining. Do you know that the minute you land on American soil, your life changed right then? Right then, your life changed. It's like you get a pay upgrade when you arrive to the US. Your life automatically changes. But this is a mindset too. As long as you have the right mindset, you come in, you respect the laws, you learn the language, you say to yourself, I'm going to work hard. Your life changes. And I've been a witness. It happened to me. I'm not saying that my life is perfect. My life has had its ups and downs. But I promise you, those ups and downs have been easier to navigate because I was able to assimilate to the culture. I was able to learn the language. I'm a good US citizen. I respect the laws. I don't get in trouble. And I've been rewarded. We can all do it. It's all a mindset. If you come into this country with this negative mindset, always complaining about the country, always complaining about all this stuff, your life is going to be a negative life. You put out what you have in your conscience, in your mind. If you are always negative, you will always put out a negative vibe. So please stop acting. Please. I'm going to say it once again, and I'm going to end the video with this. And please, I'm saying it again. Don't think I'm picking on the Somalis. This is for all minorities. I just happened to find these clips from people from Somalia talking about how, especially white people, telling white people they need to go to work for you. That's racism. Don't complain about racism when you're being a racist. You can't call white people racist when you are being a racist too, saying that kind of stuff. I got to call it like it is. The same way that I will call it when white people are being racist, I will call it for you the way when you are being racist. And I will call it for Latinos too. You can't pay racism with racism. You cannot. Because we're not going to go anywhere. I hope you guys like this video. Just think about it. When you go home tonight, before you go to bed, just think about these words that I told you today. Is my life going to be easier if I learn the language? Yes. Is my life going to be easier if I respect the laws? Yes. Is my life going to be rewarded if I work hard and I apply all these other things that I just mentioned? Yes. Do we still have things that need to be fixed in this country? Absolutely. But think about, do a calculation in your brain. Think about it. Do the good things that this country has outweigh the bad things? And most of the time, your calculation will be yes. The good things outweigh the bad things in this country. This is a great country. And they're kind enough and good enough to allow minorities to come into this country. And if you're a good citizen, you work hard, you keep a low profile, you will be rewarded, I promise you, because it's happened to me. But you can come here and always complain and be talking about the country, complaining about the country, how bad this country is, how bad this country is, how bad this country is. Have you ever thought that it maybe is you? So at the end of the day, is the US an easy country to assimilate? Yes, it is. As long as you have the right mindset. If you come to the US and you work hard, you learn the language, you respect the laws, keep a low profile, don't get in trouble, you can have a great life in this country. But it's all about your mindset. I hope you guys learned something from this video. This is JC Diaz. I'll see you guys on another video. See you later, guys. Peace.